Maybe be able to hear them doing a belly flop contest over there in Sturgis. And a breaker box. These little things on the wires. You know what a ferrule is? There's a ferrule crimper. I didn't know what this was until not too long ago. Try it. What's up, XLE? I'm building a solar system. Here, let me show you. So, got a solar system here. It's like a big battery, an inverter, breaker box. I'm in a truck. It's my truck. I'm building out a 4-wheel drive box truck to live in. And I'm out at Sturgis which is the biggest motorcycle rally in the world, I believe. And, you know, I got panels up there already. All I gotta do is, I already got it charging the battery through the inverter. These are my solar wires, and they're running up there and up to the panels. And now all I gotta do before I can get my gaming system running and my fridges powered so I can have decent food is to hook up the outlets, which require the breaker box to be done. And then I'm gonna run some outlets to the fridges so I can have refrigeration and stop eating nothing but applesauce, because I currently am just slamming 6 packs of applesauce right now to stay alive. You know how it is. And potatoes. And once I have refrigeration, I can freeze stuff and all that, and use my Instapot to make everything. Yeah, it looks like Balthita and Harry are here also that are typing, so thank you for being here. Anyway, so I got a gaming PC that I edit videos on, and I'm gonna do some live streams using Starlink out in the middle of nowhere with my truck in the future. I also design, I'm trying to work on some clothing experiments and stuff. I didn't make this one specifically, but this is a little hat that kind of is similar to what I want to make. It's a solar powered hat, so I put it in the sun and should turn on a little fan. Well, that's not good. It might be broken. That's not good. Anyways. Yeah, I like that hat. It's getting all ripped up because I wear it all the time. This is a little sound system I carry on my back to go and play music while I'm walking around. I put on this big fat suit and go around messing with people, and that's always a good time. Here's a little robot I just bought that looks at me and follows me. It's for my phone. They're doing a belly flop contest out there or something like that at the little pool over there. So if you hear the announcer guy going yapping, then that's what he's doing. But this is my top priority because I'd like to have electricity and so I can stream better and all that. Actually be able to charge my cameras and, you know. I got my insulation up here, if you can see that. It's a wool insulation. So I just let it kind of sit up there. I don't have to cover it yet. Anybody tell me what this mysterious block of material is? You know what that is? If you can guess, then I'll be surprised. What is that? It's a big block of beeswax. You can make clothes waterproof and process leather and stuff like that with it. Because I want to do some leather working and whatnot. See, I got a hide right here that's already been tanned just to try that out. I can put beeswax on that and make it kind of a little bit more durable and kind of waterproof. And then I have a hide back here, which is it's a deer hide back there that I'm getting ready to tan in the future. I just haven't gone through that process yet. So I got the dual monitor set up. kind of shake around, but you know, they just kind of sit there while I'm driving, and they haven't broke yet, so it's all good. I got one of those curved monitors. Just trying out to see what the ideal gaming setup is going to be while I'm in this truck. I'm trying to make it, you know, kind of the centerpiece of the whole thing. I'm going to have like LEDs and all kind of little, I want to make a little terrarium or something where I got like moss or something and like a bunch of, I don't know, make it like a bedroom that's been built out. I got like one of the newer NVIDIA cards and you know, top of the line stuff. I bought it last year with the PC all custom, and so it runs pretty good. It'll run everything. That just fell off. And what I am going to do, I'm also going to get a VR setup in here if possible. You know, that's why I got the tall ceiling and all that. I'm going to try and see if I can stream VR out of my truck at some point, which is something I'm looking forward to. Now, obviously all this stuff is going to get cleaned up. This is just spare parts and stuff at the moment, but I'm going to get it cleaned up. I'm going to mount a bunch of stuff to the wall so it's off the floor. And this stuff is all spare wood and wire channeling that I'm going to put in the corners of the truck. You know, it'll all get cleaned up pretty quickly once I get this electrical stuff figured out. And not an Oculus. I'm probably going to go, well actually I think I'm going to wait until they have the next generation of VR come out, you know, whatever that may be. It may be the next Meta thing, it may be something Steam related. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to try and get something good. I'm going to get one of those VR treadmills and see if it'll fit in here. You know, I got a pretty tall space in here. The height is going to be the limitation. I think I'm good with the width. You know, I can stand in one spot right about here and pretty much have full range in pretty much every direction. So that's the plan. See if that works. I don't think that's been done before much, so I'm gonna try that out. Here's what I'm using for power at the moment. I'm using this to charge some stuff. I got a little solar panel. What I like about this thing is that it's got modular batteries in it, so I can take these out, and then I got an extra power bank that I can carry around or swap out, you know, charge separately, carry in my little backpack, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna try and do a lot of streaming and try and host like online game events and whatnot. I think it'll be fun, but you know, this is my way of saving time and money by living in a truck and building everything yourself. I'm having fun with it, and I get to live out here at events and work whenever I need to work and do what I want to do when I need to do that by saving money and stuff, and just working when the work comes my way is basically what I'm doing at the moment. I'm helping a guy with a motorcycle ride across the country right now to see if I can help him with some filming, and he wanted to stop at this event and make a little bit of gas money, so I'm doing the same. And we're gonna go out to the national parks out west next, go to Montana, Glacier, Yellowstone, stuff like that. Hopefully my electrical will be ready by then, and then, you know, we'll just be hanging out, shooting some footage, seeing what's out there, and then I'm gonna try and build up, you know, it's a network of other people that are on the road, and see if I can, you know, make some friends out here that are doing the same thing. That would be pretty cool to set up a bunch of people. And then, I don't know, I don't have much of a plan after that other than keep working on the things I'm wanting to work on, and see where I want to hang out in the country. But I'd like to show y'all what that experience is like. You know, I'm just starting out, so it looks kind of rough, but eventually it'll get dialed in once I have time to just sit down and work on stuff like I do right now. I've been going full speed, going to events and trying to, you know, get around and all that. Yeah, I got an Instagram. I'm trying to figure out if I want to specialize in YouTube or if I want to go to Instagram or Twitch or whatever, but I'm just trying out YouTube and all that for now because um, I like the discovery of it. I like that you can get discovered. I don't know as much about how Instagram's algorithm works and all that. But yeah, I could probably do both, except I probably need a PC to be able to facilitate the double stream because I just have a phone right now in terms of electricity getting to it, you know. But yeah, in the future I'd like to multi-stream as many things as I can, but that's going to require me to have this PC running. But once I get the PC running, I could probably do cool stuff like the 360 streams with the 360 cameras, and I was thinking about getting some, maybe seeing if I can get a little robot to carry around some cameras for me or something. Right now I just got this little phone holder thing, but yeah. There's a bunch of people day drinking over there and all that. I don't drink or anything. I don't do nothing, so I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting for my shift to start. Occasionally I'll go out and see if there's like a bike show or a concert going on. I've been here for like 2 or 3 weeks. I've got an idea of what they do. They do like a big burnout contest over there with their bikes and destroy their tires right there for like, you know, 5 hours every night until like 4 a.m. And I gotta watch to make sure drunk people don't come wandering over here is my job. And but I'm making a little money each day as I'm out here, and I'm going to try and get this solar done so that I can stream and run Starlink and be able to stream in even more remote places. Other hobbies. Thanks for chatting, XLER. I'm glad you're a little bit interested. So yeah, making clothing is pretty cool, I think. You know, I want to see if I can make some new designs, kind of like a suit for being out in really you know, hot or cold climates or whatever. I want to see if I can make clothing that actually works for that, like effectively. So I just like testing out new things. Like this is it's a really minimal backpack. It's a military backpack, but it's got like a little compartment in it for a water bladder, but it fits one of these little batteries perfectly. So I use it as like a battery pack that I can wear and charge all my stuff, kind of like that, you know. So I'm gonna try and create like a electrically powered clothing and stuff like that. Like I have a, you know, speaker system, maybe some kind of air conditioning, maybe some kind of heating. I have some heating pads I'm going to try and integrate into it, stuff like that. Yeah, you mean the battery packs? Yeah, they're kind of big, but they fit this perfectly. Yeah, I got some cool experiments I'm going to do with that. I'll show y'all some prototypes later, maybe, that I've made. I might work on them a little bit. My main project right now is I'm going to try and add some leather shoulder pad, or not, some leather elbow pads to some of my wool clothing here. You see I got some rips and stuff in it, so I'm going to repair that and try and cut up a piece of this leather, which is a real leather bag made of like high quality squishy leather. You see, this is what real leather looks like, because it's all, I believe it is, because it's all squishy and hard, kind of. It's not like papery, so So I'm going to cut some pieces off of that, I think, and put some pads on my shirts, because I only have a couple pairs of shirts. I don't have a huge wardrobe, so I'm going to try and really build out some decent stuff. My hobbies at the moment are pretty much just trying to understand all this stuff involving building out a vehicle and being out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I like playing games and stuff when I can. I haven't done that in a while. I got friends that are wanting me to join them, and I keep putting them off because I got to work on stuff and I got to get electricity first. I mean, I guess my hobby recently has been that I put on this big inflatable suit, and I go around messing with people and going to music events and stuff. That's kind of fun. There's some videos of that on my channel that I'm posting every day. There's some coming. It's hard to get footage of that, even though it's pretty good stuff, the reactions and everything. But I'm trying to figure out a way to capture that with a camera that isn't just pointing at my face. So just working out problems like that with figuring out how I'm going to go about this stuff. I've been trying to get to this point for many years and trying to figure out what kind of way I want to do things, and just testing out different things, testing out what kind of shoes work best for having an all-in-one pair of shoes. These work okay because they're barefoot shoes and they're also really durable and stuff. What foods you can get that stay preserved, that are cheap and aren't gonna make you sick after having only that for a little while. Saving up for whatever equipment I have, stuff like that. Yeah, I appreciate you being here. I'd be glad to tell you whatever about it that you're interested in, if you're looking to do anything similar, or if you have anything in particular that you want to know about. I've tried to gain a personal understanding of all these things, with insulation to electrical to making this custom wood stuff to make it work in a truck. Putting all this stuff together. I rebuilt all this interior. It looks, I'm sure from someone seeing it for the first time, it looks like just a trash heap, but underneath all the trash that I just haven't spent an hour packaging everything up nicely, just so I have to tear it down again the next morning because I have to rush to get work or something like that. There's a build plan coming together. It's just not in its showcase kind of state right now. But it's important to show that as part of the process, because that's what it actually is. It's not it's like you don't see someone's truck and it's just this and there's nothing on it. Well, it's that's where I put my sleeping equipment right now, or whatever. Yeah, I do. Do I make it sound like a game? That's how it feels. It feels like I'm just accepting quest lines and going to explore the map I haven't seen yet, and I enjoy that kind of outlook. I enjoy looking at life that way. It's pretty fun. I want to build a spacesuit kind of deal that I think looks cool and that actually works realistically. So I have to test it in different climates and all that, and then I want to go and just travel in a truck that I built out to look like a spaceship and go meet people and figure out what I want to do to make the world better. And that's enough of a life for me. I like that, and that's what I enjoy doing. And hopefully I can show other people how to have that same kind of mindset and kind of just not stress so much. But yeah, I'm having a good time. I like learning all these things and exploring all these different avenues of the world we live in that aren't always talked about or taught to most people. And I'm excited for the future. You like trucks, but you don't have the chance to touch the controls. You mean you don't own one that you can drive? So this is the truck I went with. There's a couple trucks right there. If you like trucks, there's a place for it. All over the place. So here's another setup I was considering, is a cargo trailer with a truck pulling it or whatever, but that's kind of what I did, except I just combined it into one thing, and I have a cargo trailer on the back of basically a flatbed is kind of how it works out, and it allows me to be tighter with it. I could still get a trailer to pull behind this too, I'm thinking, possibly. So there's a couple different routes you can go, but you know, this is it's a good engine, a good brand and all that. It's not like a foreign vehicle or anything that is hard to work on as much, so that's why I went with this. It's got a little thing here that I'm not going to be able to pull out with one hand, I think, while I'm holding the phone, but I'll show you that later. You can't drive yet, only 17? Yeah, well, I started wanting to do this when I was about 18 or 19, and started learning about it, learning about vehicles, learning what things I wanted in the vehicle. Basically, I wanted just a really, you know, just a really solid space to be able to have myself isolated from the outside, where I can work, or I can play games online and all that, just super minimally, without anything unnecessary, and you know, be able to close this door up and it becomes just a little, you know, a little room that feels like a room. It feels like I'm in a building because of the height and all that. I got everything I need. I got my food in close proximity. I don't have to spend a bunch of time cooking because I have these little pots that make it for you, basically. You know, I got plenty of battery. I've oversized the battery. This is like a really big system for what I'm doing, and it should last me a long time without needing to be recharged or anything. LEDs. Yeah, I got some LEDs going. I got some in a box down there that I'm going to put up and install underneath this cabinetry. And so I'm going to install some underlit LEDs under there so I get like a glow on my system. I don't think I'm going to install lights overhead or anything. My phone died. powered. It is disconnected right now. Battery. This one goes into breakers. It's pretty neat. And maybe you'll see a little bit. This is a 48 volt system, so bit different than the usual 12-volt systems that go into vehicles. Hello again, XLDR. I don't know. I might just start calling you Rat. That's alright. I'll call you Rat. So, see, wired up a little bit. Let's see if I can run the smaller gauge wire now before I hook it all the way up. It's hard to move you anywhere because I got you strapped up because my phone. My little rotation robot is run out of juice, I believe, so it's not following me. Find in this mess where I put my wire. Your phone died too? Yep. This is gonna take a while. Here it is. See? I gotta run this to the outlets. I'm just gonna put you back where I had you. I just take this thing apart and run it that way. Jammed in there at the moment. Yeah, simple yet complicated. So it's simple the way the electricity, I guess. I mean, I'm not an electrician, but it's simple the way it all kind of functions. You know, you got the solar coming in, it gets filtered by something called a charge controller. Then it gets put in the battery as a stable source of electricity, I think. And then it gets put back in the inverter to make it higher voltage so that it can, I guess, run as alternating current, which I guess makes it kind of move differently in the wire. And what I'm doing now is making it so that that electricity that comes out of the inverter is able to be separated into different highways so that it can not overload the one highway of these things, these wires. What makes it complicated is all the safety requirements like wire size and tools and breaker sizes and certifications and all that kind of stuff. But just got to do everything safely as much as you can. And I'm trying to learn how to do it so I don't have to pay an electrician. So branching? Oh, yeah, branching, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just setting up breakers so that if one of these wires has too much load because I want to run two of these fridges on it, if both those compressors kick on and pull a huge amount of power, it's going to shut off this one breaker, not the entire system, and it's also not going to burn up the wire because I branch it out. You know, this is the one load coming from the main system, and then I branch this out into smaller wires for each of the devices with this wire. Because if I use this wire for the main branch power, you know, the main outlet, this would be too small. So I gotta figure out this spaghetti of wiring that I'm about to put in, and find a way to make it look organized. And that's why I spent like a lot of money on these little channels that I'm going to put in underneath the corners of the wall. They're more expensive than you might think, unfortunately. And my fan just died. Alright, I'm going to try and carefully cut these. Go in one of the breakers. Yeah, I guess electricity works a little bit similarly to a network of signals. Yeah, I'm trying to invest in it being a neat layout. I mean, you can go the direction of having everything spiraled out everywhere, or you can try and put a little more time and money into having it be, you know, straight and calculated and all that. I chose that I'm going to have the wiring exposed on the outside of the wall so that I don't have to think about hitting a wire if I'm drilling into the wall ever, mounting other things. So I'm just going to put the wiring on the outside with channels that I can see, that I can access if I need to make changes. Makes it easier to work on now. Plus I put in the insulation before I did the electrical because that's just how the order went. And I think this will work fine. Close. I'm going to put the smaller wire into these sections. So all the ground wire, all the green wires are all going to go right here just to connect that circuit of the, you know, the safety for that. All the white wires are going to go to this one bus bar right there, and all the black wires are going to go into the breaker so that it has to travel through the breaker to reach anything, and that's what gets shut off, gets stripped. Alright, so that's all done. These are all good connections, I think. Now, gotta figure out how I'm gonna put this in there neatly. Wonder if you can hear all the motorcycles outside. They're very loud. They never stop. Yeah. So far it's organized. I'm gonna have to put probably like 5 or 6 circuits in this thing. Probably 4 or 6. So that means 6 of these going in here, each with 3 wires. So it could get pretty messy quickly if I don't try and take time to organize each wire. I might go back and like zip tie these together and make it as neat as I can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to label everything. I'm going to see if I can. Maybe I'll make a list or something. Actually, I think there's a way to write it on the box somewhere. I'll do that, I think. I just bought an e-bike that's going to get here before Monday, I think. So I'll be riding that around, and I'm going to try and stream from that. Use it as a little streaming cart pretty much, because it, you know, it can carry all my streaming equipment, my cameras, my spare battery, and I'm going to see if that'll work well for that purpose, so I don't have to carry everything all the time. I'm going to see if I can mount this little phone robot onto it. Yeah, I saw a guy do some stickers recently, and he said they were an issue because they kept coming off. He bought like purpose-made stickers for the purpose of labeling wires, and he was having issues with them. I don't know. This is how I think I like to strip these things. I'm not sure what the real way to do it is. I need a knife, I guess. Cool look. Yeah. I'm gonna see if it's at all worth going in the direction of trying to do 360 streams or 360 videos and all that. It seems like it might be kind of too much of a hassle that people don't really care about to see. It's like maybe it's kind of hard to watch, but I'll probably try it out with my camera. I'll see if I can, maybe I'll try live stream it from a drone perspective as well. I'm gonna try out some different stuff. Hopefully it'll be interesting. I'm gonna try and do it in some really cool spots around the world and with some cool people to showcase, you know, the cool stuff. Dusty. Yeah, short 360 clips. I don't even know if you can watch 360 as a short. I don't think you can make 360 videos into a short format, but if you can in a vertical, that might be worth trying. I tried out doing a 360 live stream the other day, like a week ago, and I had the camera turned sideways, the 360 camera, and it made it where you can't look around, because it would, if you went sideways, it would move it up and down, and it made it all weird. Like the orientation was different just because I turned the camera sideways for the mount that it was on. It was disappointing, but I think that was the issue, was that it was turned. The quality was super bad, even though it's one of the newer cameras they came out with. And I don't really want to get in the cycle of buying the new camera every single time it comes out and wasting all that money. So I'm going to see how it progresses, see what kind of, maybe I'll try a drone so I don't have to have it be 360. I also broke my chest mount. My chest mount broke that I was putting right here. That was pretty good, because I could go and interview people without like pointing a camera in their face, which is the reason I bought it, so I could get, you know, more authentic interviews without making people uncomfortable and all that. So it works good for that, but I haven't even gotten done editing it yet, because it takes so long to go and edit the 360 footage. You have to use a different software. You got to look through the whole footage, and then you got to export it twice into 2 different editing softwares after you look through it and review it and see what you actually want to use from it. They say you can use AI to do that, but phone is definitely the quickest and easiest way, you know. And there's all this specialist equipment you can get, but the phone seems to be what works in terms of quickly uploading it and having an all-in-one for everything. And I might just get an upgraded phone or something like that. There's a live streamer I know that he just uses two phones. He has a main phone, he has a stream phone, and that might be the way to go. Because it can also hold a signal, it can produce its own, you know, stream, I think, something like that. And I'm gonna try and see if whatever I get, if I can run the computer to process the stream while I'm out. Yeah. Maybe I'll stream some of the editing process in the future and show kind of what that looks like once I get my computer running. This thing's pretty cool. I like the way this thing does its thing here. So this is like a quick stripper for wires. It's a neat little mechanism. Put the wire right there, and it'll snap the little insulation off. Now I'm going to put the barrel on it again. Tiny little one. Yeah. This is just how I'm doing it. There may be better ways of doing it, but all these things. This is what I've been doing. Yeah, it's much better than wrestling with the little edges. That's the ferrule, goes on the tip of it. I'm just going to ratchet and make sure it gets the consistent pressure on it every time. Actually, I wonder, does that come, I think that's, yeah. Okay, so it's all in one size. I don't have to swap out the tip on it or anything. So yeah, that's tight. So I'll do a test on it. It's not pulling off. No, pretty tight on there. That should be a good connection, I believe. Just gotta do that about 20 more times. I got this shirt by a guy I went and did a live stream with in Minneapolis the other week. My truck broke down and I ended up getting to hang out with a live streamer I know. That was probably the highlight of the trip so far. I didn't video it because the other guy was live streaming the entire time. hopefully these little ferrules are not going to be the weakest link in this, because they're just cheap little things. But it's one of the only ones I've found to buy. Good. So there's my first outlet wire. Decided that I'm just going to have the wires come out of the bottom right here, so I don't have to fish them through the wall or anything. And then I'm going to try and make a channel for them going along the outside and then down this corner right here. So they're all going to come out at the bottom of the box right there. But I want to make sure it's not going to get too messy in it. So I'm going to try and find out a place to put it. It might be these little knockouts on the back here. I might just break it and put them through there. But they're kind of sharp. These are little rubber plugs that plug up those things. I'm trying to figure out now a place to feed the wire through. I could use this hole right here, or I could try and break these and put it really organized, you know, one circuit through there, one circuit through there, one circuit through there, and just break these little square pieces off. But I don't have any grommets, so I want to be careful how I do it so it doesn't damage the wire, because I already tried putting one of the wires through here to test it, and it started stripping the wire just by putting it through that. I'm not sure what those are for. But it's kind of the only other place to put the wire into the box, unless I just cram it all into that one thing. Organization is definitely a requirement in a vehicle like this, because, you know, I'm fairly organized, but you know, I don't want to spend a ton of time on it yet. But in a little vehicle like this, it gets disorganized very quickly if you don't put everything back exactly where it was every single time you take anything out, whether it's your toothbrush, or whether it's a little light, or whether it's just a cup, whatever. You got to put everything back where it's going to be, or else it's going to look like this. And if you don't have time to go and do that every day, then it's going to be like this for a little while. nice if I had a fan going right now, but I'm running out of battery. Another reason I need to get this thing up. Nope, I don't got one of those. Good progress on the electrical here. Yeah, it's coming together good. I'm gonna break this little thing. Starting to get around that time where all the bikers are coming back from their daily rides. I'm gonna have to go to work in about 4 hours. One reason I like streams is because I get to save all the storage space of all the footage. Right now I'm going through a storage shortage because I don't have my PC running to offload all my SD cards or my phone. My phone barely works right now. I haven't been streaming that long, not like this. I didn't know you could do streams like this on YouTube in vertical format because that gets you to actually be able to be seen a little bit. I started doing that just since I've been out here, since I've been out of storage, so I haven't been able to record. But doing this allows me to record all this footage and put it on the channel. But the month of July is when I've been out here doing all this stuff and shooting all the footage. When I got on the road, full time for the first time, officially, it was the 4th of July, and so I've come out here. I'm in South Dakota right now. I've gone up to Michigan and Minnesota and Kentucky and Indiana. Some of the things I've done so far is I went in I went and hung out with an Amish kind of guy in Kentucky and helped him out on his farm for a little bit just to meet him because he was a YouTuber. I went up through Indiana. Nothing really happened with that. Went into Michigan and stopped at the Silver Lake Dunes, which is like a little tiny mini desert on the western side of Michigan. And it's got a freshwater lake it's like a beach, but it's all freshwater. It's not salt water, which is kind of cool. It smells like a lake and everything, but it's a beach. And I went sand surfing on the dunes out there. I wore the big suit as well. I went up to the UP, which is a weird part of the U.S. where it's like it's kind of like it seems kind of like a tiny Canada within the U.S. because it's like a lot of wilderness and everything. And stayed with a guy up there, did some work on his house for him. Went and stayed out in the middle of the woods in the UP area. It's called the Upper Peninsula because it's like the upper part of all those lakes. I got bit by a significant amount of mosquitoes while up there because they swarmed in my truck when I was out in the middle of the woods, and that was probably the most notable thing that happened up there. That was not great. Then I went west and my truck broke down because the wheels almost fell off because the guy that I did a safety inspection with on the truck, the guy that did a safety inspection on my truck didn't torque down the lug nuts on the wheels, so they came loose after all that driving, and I went outside after hearing a noise, and my wheel was like shaking around, and it was like broken off to the side, so the wheel was like, I already lost like 4 of the nuts that hold on the wheel. So it was about to fall off on the highway. So I stopped and got to a tire shop and stayed there for about a week and had them fix it. And the guy is not wanting to fully reimburse me for that damage, which is not great. So so then I came here to meet up with a guy that I'm trying to support however I can with his motorcycle ride he's doing for charity that he's been on for a couple months, and I'm also seeing this event a little bit, earning a little bit of gas money, and then I'm gonna probably for now my plan is to go with him to the national parks and see that, help him do some filming. Yeah, it was kind of dangerous. Wheels coming off is not one of the better breakdowns to have, but it got fixed. Cost like $2,000, and it took me a while, so I was late to this event because of that. But getting this done makes it all worth it, because this is what I've been trying to do for such a long time, trying to get up all the supplies, figure out what wiring to order and all that stuff. I don't want to skip any steps, so I try and get the best version of whatever I'm buying, and I gotta look into all that stuff and do it for the first time. Figure out what seller on Amazon I want to buy wiring from, and what tools I need to have. Yeah, I'm all good now. As long as I'm out on the road, without, with just a general goal of wanting to do whatever I need to do, that's what matters. If I have a couple breakdowns, it's not too much of an issue. I'm going to try and wire up the box first before I wire up that thing, just so it's ready to go before I put it in the wall. went and danced around with a group of guys last night at a concert wearing a big suit. It's like a big morph suit. That was pretty fun. I'm gonna see if I can find anybody who has footage of it, because that was some good video that a lot of people were taking. I'm waiting on my e-bike to get here. Like I said, any day now. It says it's gonna get here before Monday, and I'll take that for a spin. Start putting stuff on it. I might paint it. I'm gonna, yeah. But you know, I won't be able to charge the e-bike if I don't have this running. So this is kind of the foundation of everything right here: of streaming, of having decent food, of having my computer running, being able to, you know, have even just a fan powered. A vlog on the e-bike, yeah, that's coming. That's why I bought this little mount that's a robot. It'll follow me around. I might try the 360 camera on it. It's kind of like an electric motorcycle, but it's, you know, a little bit more legal, a little bit more safe, and a lot more compact, because I can fold it up and put it under my desk inside the vehicle. That's why that's why I'm not going with a motorcycle. You know, I also don't want to be in severe bodily danger all the time riding something like that goes, you know, that's like a gas motorcycle. Just not one of the things I care about that much. But e-bikes are cool. They're quiet. You can ride them in the city. They can carry a little bit of weight. You can customize them just like a motorcycle. They can ride them on the sidewalks, which is possibly one of the use cases I would have for it. Or out in the middle of nowhere where, you know, I just want to charge it with solar, out in the desert or something. I can get around to go explore some remote towns, or go scout out a trail if I want to go camp on it, and stuff like that. And I can use that as a primary means of transportation if I park my vehicle in close proximity to whatever I'm doing, whether I'm working a job somewhere. You know, I can park my vehicle close by, and then I basically just drive an electric car whenever I'm there, and my house is parked. So that means I save all that money on gas. I don't have to spend money on anything like that. It's just another way of making it so I don't have to spend money on things. Yeah, it should be. It's a dual motor e-bike, which is a kind of a rare thing, I think. I was trying to figure out which one would work, and found a company that makes one it's got all the criteria I'm looking for, which is that it folds tightly, so I can put it in here, because I had an e-bike that didn't fold before, and I ended up having to sell it because it took up like this whole space right here. And even though it was flat, so I'm going to put this other one underneath my desk. Because it folds, and it has the dual motors, so it should be pretty good for off-road and hills, and just, you know, being reliable in general, so it's not too hard on the motor. You know, having two of them to distribute the load, I would imagine. And they're powerful motors, and it's got a lot of battery life. It's, you know, theoretically I could go maybe 60 to 100 miles with it on a single charge, is what they claim. I mean, they claim 200 miles, but even rounding down, it's still a lot. So it makes it a heavy bike, but I'll also be able to use the bike to charge my camera, to carry my drone equipment, to hold my live stream setup, whatever. So it has a lot of multi-purpose because it has that battery, and it can also fold up and all that. Yeah, it's quite a deal. It's not the cheapest e-bike, and it's not the amount of money I want to spend right at the moment, but I need to, if I'm going to buy anything, I got to buy it now while I'm parked in one spot, while I'm at this event for like 10 days at a time, because that's going to be a rarity in the future. I'm going to be jumping around a lot. I'm going to be going through all the national parks, and probably not going to be near a post office or anywhere I can get Amazon, so I'm trying to order what I can now, while I'm making money too. I'm going to be making money for a couple more days. Going to see if I can find any remote editing work that I could do as well. But once I have electricity, that's going to open up a lot of things I can do. I need to figure out how to do voice to text to speech on YouTube chat. I wonder if that's a setting I can turn on. If you know if it is, that would be useful. Yeah, I don't know that it is. I know you can do that with Twitch. There's so many things you can do with Twitch, with live streams. You can have AIs talk to you with the voices of George Clooney or whatever kind of random stuff you want, integrated into the stream. People can write a message, or you can have pop-ups, and you can have moderators that can control the stream from remotely, and all this stuff. The guy I met in Minneapolis is super knowledgeable about that, because so I'll tell you about this guy because he's really cool and you should check him out. He definitely deserves to be, having viewers and stuff, because he's if you've ever seen the movie The Truman Show, you know that there's a guy that like his whole life is on TV, and he's just being watched all the time. Well, that's the best comparison I have to what he does, because he basically live streams 24/7 every second of his day. Has a live stream going, and he's been doing that for the past 3 years nonstop, every day. He's on day like 930 of just streaming every second of his life every day. So it's pretty much like you just get to watch somebody's entire life happen. And he's always live. He's live right now. Hopefully I'll get to collaborate with him on some stuff in the future. He might be going to get on the road again in his own vehicle, so I might see if I can meet up with him and and do some stuff like that. But he's called Sweaty Pedals, and he's on YouTube sometimes, and he's on Twitch. But his Twitch chat is really intricate, and he has spent years building it out, and it's kind of like what I envision the peak of streaming integrations and stuff to be at the moment. Like, he's going to be using the top software and bots and everything in his stream, so I'm gonna try and look into that and learn that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I was on his stream a couple weeks ago when I was stranded in that town he was in, and that was pretty cool. We went out to eat at a Korean barbecue place. I helped him build some of his stream room with him. He's revamping his room that he streams in with all his computers. He's got like 20 cameras and stuff for every room of his house and all that. It's very impressive, and it was really cool to learn that. And he gave me like a couple lectures on how the streaming software works and how complicated it is, and I thought that was really cool because he's got a lot of potential to be a successful streamer, I think, and I'm going to try and see if I can maybe cooperate with him a little bit in the future and help out, possibly. Yeah, he's good mentor. He's probably the most knowledgeable person on Twitch and live streaming in North America, is how I would put it. Quite possibly. At least that I know of. It's really cool. He knows so much about networking, and he used to be an electrician. He's building out another vehicle as well. He's not in it full time, and I think he bought one that was partially converted or something, but he knows what he's doing with streaming, and he's a cool guy. He also does a ton of music stuff. He's a lead singer in a band, which is of this shirt. He calls it, his band is called Uncle Daddy. And yeah, he's a really cool guy. There's people like that I want to meet up with and work on cool stuff with, because they got big projects that they're doing, and that's the kind of stuff I want to make happen, because his community is pretty cool and all that. I'm trying to build up a community of people that that I can, play games with and share this kind of stuff with, and it should be fun. Because another part of what I'm doing is I'm going to try. So this guy, the guy that does the live streaming, he does a lot of the same things that I've been wanting to do in the community that I've been thinking about for a while. Like, so one thing he does is he integrates like exercise into his streams, and creates challenges while he's playing games and stuff like that. He goes out and he IRL streams like this. He plays a lot of different games, some games that I also play. There's a lot of similarities, so I'm thinking I might definitely want to just kind of help him grow his brand, and because he's got a lot of he's got a really good foundation, and it might make sense for me to try and help him grow that, since he's doing a lot of the same stuff I've been wanting to do, and he's a cool guy. But a big part of what I want to do is set up a gaming community, so that I can run like big events through Starlink, and create big. There's games where you have people run like big charity fundraisers through events and games. You'll pay a little bit to get into this competition, kind of like an e-sport, and it raises money for charity by people playing in these big events where people are live streaming it, and there's content creators and all this stuff. And I see potential in that, and I could probably run something like that from my vehicle here if I got reliable power and internet and a good system and all that. maybe at one point if VR becomes a bigger deal, maybe I'll try and stream VR events from the truck. You talking about my Discord? Yeah, I've been trying to build up the Discord a little bit. It might not take off the way I've been trying, but maybe with some live streams we'll see. So the gaming community I'm trying to make is all about it's all about playing games in like unique ways and stuff, like having unique challenges and hosting big events. Kind of playing games in unconventional ways, I guess, just to make it more fun. And I think if a lot of people that like to play that way come together, it would be we'd be able to do some pretty cool stuff. So that's kind of my goal for that. I don't know why this breaker is so loose. Might use the other one for now. Oh, you're talking about on Twitch, yeah. Yeah, maybe he's using a plugin for Twitch. I guess it's not integrated into Twitch regularly. But I ain't going to be able to do all that much with just a phone setup anyway, so I got to get my computer running so I can run it through OBS and stuff like that. Right now I'm just running it directly to YouTube. If I can run it through OBS, which is a PC program, or a computer program, then I can multi-stream and do all this crazy software stuff with alerts and yeah. part about this is that I got to figure out what length I'm going to run this wire, and then I got to decide where my outlets are going to be. I think that's all wired up now. I might take some precaution to take this thing up a little bit to make sure those wires don't get, I think it's called marred. You don't use YouTube much? Do you use Twitch more than you do YouTube? What was it like to discover this stream? Like, did it just show up in your feed? Were you looking at shorts and it showed up, or did you see it as recommended? Or were you already a subscriber or anything like that? I'm not sure what it looks like. I don't think I've ever even seen a live stream on YouTube show up, but I just know that you can do shorts as live streams now. Recommended. So you actually saw the thumbnail and everything and clicked on it. It wasn't just like another short that showed up as you know, before you previewed it, I guess. Okay. Now, some appear in shorts. Okay. it's cool having some people that aren't just drunken bikers around. So I got one circuit done. Now I got to figure out how much of this little wire I got to use to go to the first outlet. So I got to decide where the first outlet's going to go. So I got to figure out, I'm going to run it from the breaker box down that corner. Then I'm going to put a wire channel right there. The fridges is probably the first circuit I'm going to make. So I'm probably going to have to clean all this stuff out of the way, pull the fridges out, figure out how long the cords are on the fridges, and put the outlet in accordingly. Probably over here on the right, or maybe right in between them, because these are sitting pretty flush against the wall, and they'd probably pinch the cords depending on where I put it. So I'm going to figure out where I can do that. Maybe I'll do, I don't know, maybe I'll do 2 outlets. Maybe I'll put an outlet over there and then one under here, and that way I have some extra plugs or something. My second circuit, I'm gonna have to run another one of these cords probably and bring it down the same way, and then I'm gonna bring it up here to run my computer. So I'm either gonna put it up under here, down here, probably gonna put it under here, I think. Probably gonna put it under that so that I can pass the power cables through the, see that's a lot of wires right there. I'm probably gonna pass the power for the computer down underneath, but I mean, maybe I'll put an outlet right there. Yeah. Just nitpicking where the outlets are going to be at the moment, I guess. I could always run an extension cord to anything with that yellow cord, but I don't want to have to install things twice. So I'll probably, see, this is what I got right now. I plug this power strip into this generator and I can run my computer for maybe 2 hours. But it drains the entire battery, but it allows me to run it for about 2 hours, and that's how this is where I connect my monitor and my computer and my other monitor. So it's just kind of laying on the desk and taking up space right now, but I want to avoid that, so I want to put a good outlet location to where I can have all these things reach it without issue. So I might just, I might cut a hole in the desk right over here so I can feed these wires through that and have an outlet underneath, or maybe even like a surge protector like that underneath, connected to the outlet so I have more spots or something like that. Nothing here is really that big of a draw electrically. A guy gave me a seashell necklace last night when I was dancing with the folks out at the concert. So this is my tray of just stuff I throw out here to deal with it later at the moment. Everybody's got them. Everybody's got one of those somewhere. I got a first aid kit that I bought here since I'm going to be out on my own places a lot and whatnot. Yeah, I'll figure out where I'm going to put that. Yeah, I got a whole bag of those little clippers. I got them all over the place because they spill out of the bag, and they're just kind of I find them all the time in my bags and stuff. I bought like a 300 pack of them because that was like because I thought I was going to use it for the insulation, but I ended up just being able to make everything stick to the wall with zip ties. Um, so I still got a bunch of them somewhere. I'll find them eventually. But for now I just need to try and put them in these wired channels. I got these things. It's like a little channel the wire can go through. It looks like wood, so it matches the wall. And in the corner, you won't be able to really tell. It's the same color that it's a wire channel. And it's a little bendy, and it's curved, so it fits as a corner. And so I'm just going to use it as a kind of like a finishing at the bottom, and it's also going to hold the wires. And like the corner down like there. So I'm going to put it just like flat across the bottom. Grab some of the wool off my ceiling. Wire I need. And try and give it a little bit extra just in case I gotta move something. Bag of wrenches. Some Dawn dish soap that exploded in my bag and is now leaking all over my tools. Clothes in a little laundry bag. Forbidden toothbrush. It's made of metal. Here's all the little clips. They just kind of stick onto the wall and they hold on to the wire with a zip tie that you put through it. I don't know if I'd call this organized yet. Compartmentalized. You know, I got one area of the room where it's tools and one area of the room where it's food and whatnot, but that's about it. Here's a little piece of the beeswax block that broke off. I could melt that down and it would become like a wax kind of material, become fluid, but it needs to be filtered. That's why it's all dirty looking. That's why the block looked like that. You're supposed to filter it through like a cotton or something, and then it becomes really like bright yellow and clean looking. I just haven't done that yet. So let's see where these wires. make that into belts and straps. Maybe I could add it as part of the house. I could put it on my roof if I wanted to. It'd be heavy, but I'm anxious for it. Look at all this stuff balancing on here. Yeah, it's edible. Not very nutritious, but I don't think it'll hurt you too much. It's like eating the wax off of a wine bottle, I guess, except less dye and stuff in it. I don't know. That. It's kind of like honeycomb. It's kind of like honeycomb. I think honeycomb has. I believe honeycomb has some wax in it, and you still eat the honeycomb. So I'm pretty sure it's edible. Like the honeycomb structure is, I think, wax, but you know, the honey in it is honey. I don't actually know about that. There's a whole iceberg of knowledge to learn about with bees and honey and all that as well, which I learned a couple of years ago. It's more complicated than you might think. But beeswax is a good material to have. You can do a lot with it. It's a material they used back in the day for, you know, food preservation and clothing and tools and corrosion protection, all kind of stuff, I think. Something like that. So I'm gonna keep it around. I also got a big jug of salt. I got like a big giant cup of salt, so I can use that for different things. I can use it to preserve meat if I don't have refrigeration. I can use it to tan the hides. Use it to season stuff. Got my rations of rice in here. This is what I have about every night. Is I just make, as you know, the most organic rice I can find, and make a big stew gumbo thing of potatoes and whatever meat I can find and all that. And it tastes pretty good, so I just make it every night because it doesn't go bad really for a while. Bought like 2 bags of potatoes for like $3. So that's a lot of food for $3. Currently burying myself in here. You like ramen? Yeah, I'm a fan of ramen, but I just don't like overly processed ramen that comes in the little cups. I had those a lot, and you know, they're probably not all that great for you as like a staple of your diet. If you're gonna commit to having a steady grocery supply of one thing, you know, I'm kind of trying to figure out right now what food I'm going to buy every time I go to the store. So, you know, I'm going to figure out what my staples are. You know, it's going to be like potatoes, maybe rice, flour for making bread, like a butter that doesn't go bad because it's clarified butter, so it's like shelf stable. I'm going to try and have a bunch of stuff I can freeze though, so I can have fresh stuff. That's why I got all these fridges. Got emergency food and water up here. Emergency water. Emergency food and all that. bag. I used to work for Postmates during the pandemic. I rode around on my bike and delivered food and stuff. So I kept the bag, and now I keep my bread flour in it, so I can make my own flatbreads, because American bread is pretty much toxic and outlawed in the rest of the world for a reason. So I just make my own bread, and I can add whatever I want to it. I can make pizzas and stuff. This is what it looks like when it's not super fried. Yeah, so I put these. So this is the packaging that came with the fridge. It came with these little wood boards in it, so I just used them as a shelf to stabilize everything up here, just to make use of it and not have to buy anything. Because pretty much everything I'm using in here, I got for free for the most part, in terms of like the materials and stuff. Like these boards were already on the wall when I got the truck, and I just flipped them around to the cleaner side and sanded them down, and then I was able to just reuse them. That's why they're already kind of damaged and whatnot, but it's not a big deal because now I don't have to worry about scratching it because it's already kind of dirty, but it looks fine. And so that's the style of build that I'm doing. Kind of is, it's not going to look perfect, but it's going to be not as stressful because I can cut it or scrape it, and it's not going to, I'm not going to have to worry about it really. And as long as I commit to that style with what I make, you know, and make it so that everything looks like it's, you know, able to be scratched up and all that, I don't think it'll look that bad. But yeah, lots of recycling opportunity here. This table is made from a shelf that was in the truck when I bought it. I have a video on what it looked like before I bought it. I went up to Colorado and picked it up and drove it back and then threw all my stuff in it. So at the very beginning of the year, I left out to Colorado to go and buy the truck, and I've been trying to put in some of the essential stuff like insulation and you know, stuff like that. In terms of bedding, also I eat dog food. If I didn't mention, you can eat dog food, I guess sometimes. This is it's not all that great, but I wanted to try it, see how it would do, because it's only got one ingredient. It's just it's just beef liver, and so that gives you like a kind of a nutrient kind of meat, other than just like, you know, just you know, regular steak or whatever. And if you hydrate it, I mean, it tastes like sawdust right now if I were to eat a piece, but if I hydrate it in a soup or something, it becomes a little bit more edible. I don't think I'll buy it again, but it is something I wanted to test out, and it is edible and doesn't taste as bad if you hydrate it. Yeah, it tastes like sawdust. And if you hydrate it, it tastes like really chewy, and I didn't cook it all that great last time I made it because it was at the top of the pot and didn't get a lot of water absorption, but it tastes like a really chewy jerky, but it's not salty at all, I guess is how I'd describe it. It doesn't taste salty at all. It's really just like kind of squishy, chewy, kind of sweet. It tastes kind of sweet, not like chicken or anything, you know. Not bad. But you know, it's meat that isn't going to go bad right now. It's freeze dried. So my fridge situation. So here's my bread making kit. A little spatula, which I didn't clean the flour off of yet, which I should do. This is where the flour goes, so I can make the bread. I got started making bread a couple days ago, and I had to. Yeah, those are meant to be dog treats, so dogs supposedly like them a lot, but it's not all that great. Like you're supposed to hydrate it for them, I think, is kind of what they recommend on the bag. But it also doubles as me having dog treats with me all the time if I am near someone who has a dog. But yeah, so here's what I use to make bread. I got some stuff in here for that. I got some stainless steel containers so they don't break rattling around in here. I also got glass that I'm gonna try and keep from breaking. But I try not to keep a lot of plastic stuff just because it makes me feel better, I guess. Doesn't break, doesn't degrade or anything. Got some olives. I tried out using almond flour, but I'm not super impressed with it, so it's just kind of sitting in here for now. I got some bacon in here, except if I open it, it'll start to go bad, so I've not opened it yet. But that's perfectly good bacon. Some pasta sauce. Yeah, nothing that needs refrigeration in here. It's just sitting in here for now to store it. I got a cast iron pot in there. This is my air fryer lid, so I can put this on the Instapot, and it allows me to use it as an air fryer and an oven all in one. So that's kind of a good feature I like, because it slims down on the amount of appliances I need to have. I just have one appliance that works for pretty much everything. I can make soups, I can dehydrate things, I can make jerky, my own jerky for meat and whatnot, and all that kind of stuff. You got, if I want peanut butter, this is just kind of something I picked up to try, I guess. But eventually I'm going to try and see if I can grind my own peanut butter with just like peanuts and stuff, maybe at some point. But apparently you can make powder out of peanuts, and you can use it you can make smoothies with it, which is something I do. I make a lot of banana smoothies because it's a really cheap way to get like a kind of a not super sugary dessert. So I can make banana peanut butter smoothies and stuff like that, and it doesn't go bad. And, this cinnamon is really good. And this is my applesauce fridge. It's almost exclusively applesauce, as you can see. It's kind of funny. I have an entire fridge dedicated to applesauce because I bought a lifetime supply of it. It used to be completely stacked, but as you can probably imagine, I've been using it a lot. I have about 2 of these packs a day, and they've lasted me this long. So I found a store in Florida that was had a sale going on, and I bought a case of applesauce, which is like 36 of these little cups for $1 each. So I spent like $10, and I got 10 giant cases of it, and I've been just using that the whole time. Yeah, this is like the vault of unending applesauce. Ooh. Some styrofoam in there. That sounds very good. Some dehydrated onion I threw in here. Add to soups and stuff. I got all my jars. I did buy a bunch of glass jars that are high quality for canning and preserving and stuff. So there's a brand from, I think, France that makes special jars that don't have materials that'll rust, which is an issue I have with these little American jars. Let's see if you can see it. So it's a glass jar with a little silicone seal, and it's got a little metal latch that is stainless steel, and so I can store things in it. I can use it to make my own pickles, or store flour and bread and stuff or whatever. And I got the more applesauce down there. But these fridges are good because they can also be used as a freezer. They can be swapped to a fridge or a freezer, and they seemed like they had slightly less energy consumption than normal fridges, even though they are 120 volt. I think I should have the power for them. If I end up not having the power for them, I'll get rid of one of them and just have one that I probably use as a freezer, and then have a really small fridge. So there's a couple different directions I could go, but having one big fridge for storing vegetables and condiments and whatever I need to store, drinks and all that, so it doesn't go bad, would be nice. And having a big freezer you know, if I end up not needing much of a fridge, then I can turn both of these into freezers and have an extremely large amount of food storage long term for meats and whatever, vegetables. Yeah, so let's see. I probably have 360 cups of applesauce if I bought 10 cases at 36. So that's a lot. The rice is pretty good. Those bags of rice are like 20 bucks. So 40 bucks, and I have probably enough food for half a year to a year. Probably half a year if I'm actually using it like I am now. Lasting quite a while though. I got some flies going on every now and then, which is not great because apparently in South Dakota, because it's like a really heavy state on cattle, the flies are more numerous here, and this event is known for being an event with a lot of flies going around. So I've been experiencing some flies landing on me when I'm trying to sleep and stuff quite a bit, but I'm getting used to it. My blender's in here. I have a decent blender I use to make smoothies and stuff. I'll do that a lot more once I get electricity, and I'll make some really nice, like really good ingredient stuff. I'm gonna try and make ice. Another thing I could do if I wanted refrigeration is I could use this to just make ice, and I could just use a cooler on the ground as a fridge, and that way I don't have to power a fridge. I just make ice with the freezer, and you know, have a really small fridge just for stuff I'm using immediately for the, you know, for a week or so. But that's my plan B if this is too much power, is I'll probably do something like that. Here's a little backpack I bought. I was gonna try and design something like this. You know, a battery backpack that can hold your cameras and stuff. But they make one. This company did a Kickstarter, and they made one that has a power station built into it. And it's got little selfie sticks on the side for mounting your camera, and kind of acting as a tripod that is in a bag. And I can store my drone and stuff if I need to. I did a cooking stream where I was making the bread earlier, but I had to jump off and go and do more work for a little while, and I ended up having to throw away the dough that I had made because it got moldy, because I didn't have time to make it at the moment. There's also not many places to plug in here until because my little generator can run my little Instapot, but it's not going to be able to run the big one that I have. It'll overload it until I get this up, so I'm going to keep trying to do that. Yeah, I'll do some cooking streams though. I'll do some game streams and cooking streams, and you know, make a pretty cozy atmosphere, as they call it, where I'm sitting in my truck in the mountains or something and just kind of living cheaply and on some kind of mission to go and do something somewhere. It'll be good. If you got any recommendations for what, you know, you think would be good from your perspective as a viewer and all that, I would very much be able to consider that. I'm gonna try and go meet up with different YouTubers and people that I know, people I've always wanted to meet. You know, I can can go anywhere in the country to go and meet somebody. So I was able to do that a little bit, so that was pretty cool with the Amish guy and the live streamer. And met a lot of people here at this event from different countries, and yeah, just basically my main goal out here is to network and meet people and plan for big projects I want to do while I'm out on the road, and find a, like, if I'm on the road and I can do anything for the most part, what should I put my time into? I'm probably going to try and do it into like trying to set up some kind of volunteer organization so that people that are in their vehicles can go and do volunteering on a large scale or something like that. Maybe it's just raising money through charity streams or through game events. I don't know what it'll be exactly, but it'll be whatever it is. I'm going to try and make it something that is worthwhile and effective in whatever it does. This is a lot of junk. Yeah, charity events will be a way to make things pretty cool, probably. I think they're pretty successful most of the time from the streams I've seen, and as long as I choose the right charities to put it towards and whatnot, I think it can actually be effective. I might go the route of just donating to, like, maybe like individual people or something, so I know it goes to a good place or something like that. But I'm still talking to people, trying to figure out more about how those kind of things work and what the best way to go about it is. Because I know there's a lot of ways you can just donate to a mass of a charity fund and have it just kind of get soaked up and not do all that much. So I want to make sure it goes to somewhere that is going to be a noticeable difference, like whether it's infrastructure or setting up, maybe it's buying some Starlinks for some remote town that needs to be able to run live streams to fund a small business or something like that. I don't know. I'll see whatever it is. Alright, I'm gonna move these fridges. Yeah, I'll be doing gaming challenges and stuff. That'll be part of it for sure. Picked up a spool of wire with my toe. It's getting so cluttered in here that it's starting to block out the light. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to like do some collaborations with streamers and YouTubers. That would probably be a good way to make it effective and get more No, I can't lay fridges flat. They will mess up and hurt the compressor if I turn it. I mean, you can, but if I turn it on after it's been flat before like 24 hours or something, the oil won't be in the compressor, and it'll grind it to pieces and break it. I'm trying. I thought these had wheels, but I might just be scratching up my floor. I think they have wheels. I just sandwiched them in here. I didn't mount them or anything. They've been sitting upright, from what I can tell, pretty fine. Just because I've squished them with a bunch of styrofoam and stuff that they came with, the packaging, I just sandwiched it in there. Try not to break that. Here's my hat. That's what that looks like. A lot of open space. Fridge came with some dents and stuff on it, like that. Well, that's not ideal, but I sent some pictures to the Amazon company and they refunded me a little bit of money because I showed them it had some dents on it, so that was pretty cool. They were a good company to work with in that regard. Let's see if the fridge actually works. I haven't turned it on once yet, so hopefully it works. Alright, should record. It's about to fall over on me. I don't think that dent will cause too much trouble right there. Just cosmetically. This is just insulation. This is just a big insulation board on the back of it, so it getting dented makes it maybe slightly less insulative in that one spot because it's less of an air gap, but it's not going to change how it functions from where I see it. I know there's going to be some long lost things back here that have fallen behind the fridge, so let's see what happens. Got a solar wire, fridge clip, a hat, a strap for I think a fan that I got. All the sawdust that I have in here because I had to do some cutting of a circular saw inside when I was at the tire shop getting my wheels fixed because I didn't want to go outside and make a bunch of noise cutting stuff. So there's sawdust everywhere. Luckily, I bought a little tiny vacuum. Which I've misplaced. This is not a good situation here. Here it is. It's a tiny little vacuum. And the good thing about it is that it also blows air through the back of it, and it also pulls in debris, so I can use it as a blower or a vacuum. Yeah, there you go. That's a very useful thing to have. If you don't have one, it's pretty hard to clean all this stuff. It takes 10 times as long. Turbo mode. Yeah, I've streamed for 2 hours now. I'm gonna try and do a lot of really long-term streams and stuff like that. Just kind of show off the experience of it. Another benefit of that is that I capture all the footage on the live stream, and maybe I can use that to make a video without having to keep all the storage of the footage on my own SD card and all that. You know. I got a spot right there. It's not a very long cable. Pretty good cable now. Got it unwrapped. I think that'll reach wherever I really want to put it. Casing. I mean this blue tape will come off. I'm one of those people that just leaves the wrap on the thing I buy for as long as possible, just to make sure it doesn't get. Because why take it off? Like the screen protectors and stuff. Got it on the inverter right now. The casing, if you mean this, not really. I don't think so. It's all sealed pretty well, I think. Oh, well, actually, there is a plastic film on it that would come off, that I could take off. Same kind of thing, it's like a screen protector. Yeah. Okay. So like I said, I think this cable is going to be long enough to go anywhere I need to put the outlet. It got bent, but some guys out there in their tents. this is the casing that came with the package, and I just use it to sandwich. It's pretty fragile, so it's probably going to break if I'm not careful with it. Ooh, that's a pretty bad dent right there. Get the cord off of it. So the way they track people in this event is they give you a wristband, like most events, and that's how they know you've paid your thing. And I gotta wear this wristband the entire time I'm here. It's starting to pick up a bit of a stench, I would say, because I can't wash it. It's interesting. I have a shower that I could set up, but I haven't really needed to that much because I can go and swim in like lakes and rivers and stuff, and that works pretty well as a shower in my experience so far. I haven't been too many places where there's not a body of water to go in. But I'm trying to get good about saving water. I bought a recirculating shower that was made by a company in Australia, and they shipped it here. And you get a bucket of water and you put it at the base of the shower, and it's going to hold that, and then it has a pump that pulls it from the base of the shower on top of your head over and over again, and it just it puts it through a filter every time it goes through the hose, and it makes like you can have a shower for a longer time. So I wanted to try that. It's way easier to do this than have to design a whole system that's tied into your water tank and all this crazy stuff. This seems like an easy way to get a recirculating shower. I'm also probably not going to get a water heater, because I'm gonna just heat water up in my cooker pot thing. So I can just heat water like I'm trying to make coffee or something, and then I'll just pour that water into the bucket and use that as shower water. So I don't have to have a big expensive water heater and all that stuff. I don't got to winterize it or anything like that. Just ways of, I don't think it'll be that inconvenient. I can heat up a thing of water, and then it saves the power as well, saves space, and I can heat up a thing of water. You can use some of it for the shower, and then I can turn around and use whatever's left over to make dinner for the night or something like that. So I'm going to try and do that. All right, fine. I'll take the tape off. Okay, that broke. Oh, I was keeping the metal corner on. Never mind. I'm going to leave that there so it keeps the metal on. do that. You just ripped a big hole in it. Like that. So do you play any games or anything? Do you have any recommendations? Because pretty soon I may be of the capability to try and look into some new things to play. Okay. That was a weird noise. Did you hear that? Sounded like there was a creature back there. Oh, you're making a horror game. That's pretty cool.